Coach Jeff was just talking about, keeping the confidence and guys coming back and working hard. How do you do that after, the ups and downs of the season? How do you make sure guys still have that confidence to go out there and try to improve and get better?
Well, I think it's something that Coach Brom has done a great job of starting way back. You got to start putting that in them before it happens. If you wait until, anything like that happens, it may be too late, And he talks about all the time, hey, win or lose, and obviously we anticipate winning. That's the goal. That's what we're working towards. But you got to go right back to work the next day. And, I've heard him talk about that for 3 years. Win or lose, it's the same preparation starting on Sunday, or in this case Saturday because we played on Friday night. But and I think our players have been, in my opinion, really great. I know even at practice last week, that was coming off of a difficult loss in Cal. And at practice, they were energized. They were working and thinking and engaged in what was going on. I would expect this week to be no different. Yesterday, which was just more of a corrections and more of a, get out, get moving stuff on Sundays, which is what we do. Seemed like everybody was still fully engaged, fully activated, fully mentally prepared to come and fight to get another win. So I think if you prepare for that all year long, obviously you don't want any losses, but if you do have them, then you can continue to struggle and fight and strain. I shouldn't say struggle, but strain to get that next victory. Jody, I think that's the best answer for it, just because you can't just wait until, hey, all right, we've had a couple losses, now let's start trying to figure out how to get them fired up.
Mark, obviously you guys played SMU last year, faced this quarterback. What do you see that's maybe different about him this year? Or I guess how have you seen their offense maybe improve this season, or what's different about it?
Well, he is, that fellow presents some problems. There's no doubt about it. He did last year for us, and not just for us, for everybody that he's going against. Jennings he's a dynamic player. He's able to beat you with his legs, but he's got some incredible arm angles where you see him throwing. I don't know if he was a baseball player growing up or not, but he makes some throws that he's off balance. Sometimes he's running for his life, and he's still just putting it on the money. So when you can do that, when you can pressure a guy and then he can still make very, very accurate, very on the point throws, that makes it very hard for him or for us to defend. And he's capable of, one thing that really hurts everybody I've seen him go against, including us, is he's able to extend plays. So you may get pressure on him, you may get somebody that's got him moving around, but then he can move his body in certain spots so now he can set up and throw the football. And they're going to use him with some bootleg and some sprint out and some stuff like that, which is smart to get him moving and let him make some decisions. But he's a dynamic player. There's no doubt that can't hurt you. How is he doing better this year? I don't know that he was doing real poorly last year. I think he's just he kind of picked up where he left off and continued to do, in my opinion, some really talented, really dynamic things. He's a good player.
The return of Stan Kwan, your thoughts on his performance? Obviously, tied for team lead in tackles there.
Well, of course, no doubt. I think we're all excited to get Stan Kwan back. I probably may be a little more excited than the others because I get to deal with him on a day-to-day. But I really appreciate the fact that he did a good job because that was a broken leg's not a minor deal, and then for him to be able to, they said, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, and he started practicing around 8 and then was in the game at 10 weeks. So I appreciate him putting in the effort to be in here, and our obviously our medical staff, training staff doing a good job of getting him back. Sean and those guys did a great job, but there was some rust. You haven't had as much activity, fitting runs, you can look on a screen and you can write down notes, and that's all very good. But there's no substitute for repetition. There's no substitute for game reps and all that kind of good stuff. But he did come out and do what Stan Kwan does, which is, he makes plays. And he had a couple tackles for loss, and, he had some nice hits. And he's a big, strong guy that can run. So anytime you can plug that back into your scheme, into your system, as an inside linebackers coach, I'm very happy. And I think Coach English and Coach Brom are in the same boat. So we're glad to have him back. I would imagine that even though he did play well, you'll continue to see improvement, I hope, this week and next week and as we move forward. So, but very glad to have Stan Kwan back, no doubt about it.
Mark, last year it seemed like the SMU game after that the defense is when it kind of clicked and started getting better and better. Jeff was talking about how poor it was that day, and it was more of the tempo and everything they did. What's different now with this defense when you go up against a team that does tempo than maybe when you played them last year?
Well, they obviously had a good plan and caught us, moving and talking and doing some stuff last year, no doubt about it. And that was it's something that we've always worked on. I'm not going to say that, hey, that was the first game we ever realized there was tempo. No, we obviously have always worked at that. But that game, we seemed to be a little off kilter, and they did get us in some situations. But obviously we worked diligently, with Coach Brom, with Coach English in the off season. And it wasn't just them. It started immediately even during the game, at halftime, we're not just saying, hey, just ride this out. No, we're trying to get things adjusted just like we do every week and come out with a better plan in the second half. Even on the sideline, if it's the first drive of the game, we're trying to make adjustments using those iPads. Game's so different now, you go straight over and watch everything. So you're trying to adjust right then. But that's something we've worked at a lot as far as being able to have certain calls that we can instantly get the guys into. And then things that if we need to check, we can check. But just making sure they feel comfortable, because that's the big thing. Whatever they're doing, as long as our guys can feel comfortable getting their feet in the ground and being in a proper football position, they're going to have chances to make plays. It's if they're not, then there's any type of communication or confusion or any gap in what's going on with the people on the field. Now you're in a predicament. So we've worked extremely hard at that, starting at the beginning of that game all the way through, this season, and we'll continue to do so, presenting them with scenarios throughout the week so that they can practice and get better.
As we wind down the season, 2 more games in this regular season, it'll be senior day for TJ here coming up soon. I think you've been around the entire time he's been here, I believe, correct?
I have.
What's he meant to this program? And this year, it seems like even when he's out there, sometimes he's limping. He doesn't, he gets nicked up, but he's still going. What's he meant to this program, and what's kind of he mean to your group, your group?
Well, to your point, to get a straight answer out of TJ about are you okay? Because you see him, he's banged up, and he wouldn't tell you anything other than, yep, I'm good, coach. So you really never know. He's going to go play football, and he's played a lot of reps in the last 3 years, and so for him to be able to perform, I think at a very high level, this year has been very satisfying for me to see for him. Just because I think, you don't always get what you deserve. I tell people this all the time. Hey, you've worked very, very hard, but just because of that, unless you go out and make it happen, you're not going to necessarily get what you deserve. It doesn't happen like that. That's not how life always is. But I feel like for him, he is having a very good year. Of course, I'd like for it to finish even stronger throughout these last few games as he finishes out what's been, in my opinion, a really good career. But it is nice to see him stay put, work hard, be loyal, ask all the right questions, and want to improve on whatever the things that he may have had. If there's a deficit anywhere, how do I fix it? And then when you tell him what to do, he attempts to go and make that happen. So it's been really pleasurable. But for him this year, if you've watched on game day, the communication level has gone through the roof compared to where it was 3 years ago, and you should continue to get better. But I see him constantly talking and communicating, and there's no doubt if there's a day of practice where he's not in as much, then things don't run quite as smoothly because he knows the defense. He knows what Coach English is thinking due to those conversations and all those repetitions. So there's no doubt when he's not out there, it's a different deal, and that's a good thing. So hopefully he'll continue to do so. But he's meant a lot to our unit because they have to see the consistency of this guy that's been everywhere. I couldn't imagine somebody telling you that he's missed a weight room or a treatment or something in the classroom. He's always sitting there with a smile on his face, and when it's time to meet or do whatever we got to do. So you really love to see the people that have that type of attitude and mentality in life have success because it didn't always like that. But he's going to be hard to replace, and it's been a lot of fun to be around him, no doubt.
It's always wins a team, loses a team, but at the same time, this defensive unit has been really good all year. We have good games and bad. I just wonder if it's a challenge to kind of keep tunnel vision, like when you're working with defense, if you just lost a game or whatever, to kind of have them realize we're still playing pretty well, we got some things to clean up. How do you deal with that, you know, when you've got a good unit on a team that's lost, and always just focus on what needs to be better? How do you do that?
Well, it's whatever whatever you encourage, whatever you talk about, whatever you have decided is going to be, hey, what we're doing. And I've watched Coach English walk right in this room every day, and the only thing he talks about is what are we going to do, to make those extra couple plays to win these ball games. It's never about anything else, and nor should it be, because we have done some good things, but there's always, like you said, we go in that room, hey, there's umpteen things we got to get better at. Here's what we could have done to improve the outcome, and I think that's how. I know that's how our coaches approach it, and I think that's how our players approach as well. I mean, like you said, you've had 3 extremely close ball games that you'd love to have back, but you can't get them back. The only thing you can do, if you have any common sense at all, is move on and continue to improve so you can win the very next game, which is, for us, SMU. So, but I think the guys have done a fairly good job of that. I don't know, couldn't tell you what they say when they walk back to the dorm room or sit in the apartment, but I know it's not tolerated or encouraged or allowed here in the facility or in this room. It's just, hey, here's what we did well, here's what we did poorly. How are we going to improve to do our part to help get a victory come this time it's on Saturday?
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.